Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Not good evening. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me turn this on too because TikTok. I should go live on TikTok more. Maybe trying to say I don't go live enough. Um. So welcome here for our 100 Days of Joy. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you comment and please subscribe to my page. For those of you on TikTok, please keep coming back. I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure out all this technology together. So I want to talk today a little bit today for our 100 Days of Joy. Oh, look at that mascara. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me stay focused. For today, our 100 Days of Joy. Are you getting the emails too? If you're in the Facebook group, are you getting the emails? I mean, if you're in the Facebook group, if you are connected to the Facebook group is called Black Girl Joy. You can find that on Facebook and join. Are you getting the emails when I go live on YouTube? But let me talk a little bit today about boundaries. And let me just say that boundaries are not, they're not walls that we put up. I was thinking, so I was talking to a friend of mine, and my friend was like, well, I'm just cutting everybody off. And I'm not talking to anybody, and I'm just gonna, not anybody, but just, certain people that she was talking about. And she said, well, I'm just gonna cut them off and I'm gonna be done with them. Because of things that they did, ways that they violated her, not physically violated her, but just things, how sometimes you just don't feel like dealing with stuff no more. Sometimes you've been like a people pleaser, sometimes you've been a perfectionist, and sometimes you've been working for everybody else, doing everything for everybody else, and you just get to the point where you're tired of it. You don't feel like doing that no more. So how do you create boundaries? Hi Paola, hi Henry. How do you create boundaries in that space when you decide like I need some space. I need something. Hi Marva. How do you stop yourself from overworking, accepting all of the gigs, all of the overtime, all of the assignments, the responsibilities, the duties? Can you be a part of this ministry? Can you be a part of that? Can you volunteer here? How do you put boundaries in place around things like that? So I started out talking about my girlfriend who was cutting people off, but around people who you love. Like some people you love, and you still need to have these boundaries in place. Why is it important to have boundaries in place? Because they create bridges. I think if we think of them in terms of them creating more bridges to more peaceful and to a more peaceful, intentional life for ourselves, then we can think of it as a way of self-preservation, a way of protecting ourselves, and then that self-care, not pouring from an empty, will take us to a point where we're not pouring from an empty cup, where we are then in turn looking and being able to be more intentional about our love and affections toward other people. We won't be doing it from a place of resentment or burnout. So yeah, that can lead us to joy in and of itself. Hi Irene. Disconnecting us. I was just talking in terms of boundaries, just disconnecting from things that drain you, and reconnecting with things that nourish you is an act of what we call radical self-love. Radical self-love is when you it's just when you learn to cut out the things that don't serve you. It's an act of self-care. You don't have to be available to everyone all the time. When you realize that's a radical moment for many of us. Many of us have been raised in situations where if you say no to somebody, you're not being kind. If you tell somebody you can't do something, they might be offended. If you don't eat somebody's food, they might take offense. And so we have to break that, because if I don't eat your food, it just means I'm not hungry. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. And we have to be okay with saying that. You don't have to explain why you need space to everybody. You just need to be able to honor yourself. And it doesn't have to be malicious. It doesn't have to be, no, why they ask me that? It doesn't have to be any of those things. And it doesn't have to come across that way. It can just be a way that you honor yourself. I don't have it. I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to be out there today. I just don't have it. And the people who love you will respect it. And some people who love you won't. Some people who love you won't, because they won't understand it, because you're taking a different stance. This is not how we do things in our family. This is not how you treat the people that you love. And as long as you know that this is coming from a place where it's not like a place where you don't love them, it's just a place where you need more for yourself in that moment, and you can be okay with that. Thank you, Marva. Um, we can learn to be okay with those things. Um, there's power in boundaries. It takes courage to disconnect. I want to say that it takes courage to disconnect, and there is joy in the realignment once we disconnect from. And I'm gonna go into what I'm talking about disconnecting from a little bit more. So if in the comments you ready to protect your peace, I want you to put that in there. But understanding that boundaries is a form of self-respect. Saying no isn't rejection. It doesn't mean I don't love you, I don't want to be around you. Sometimes it does. But for people that you love and you want to be in a relationship, it just doesn't mean that, right? Um, it it is for a person who is recognizing the need to say no without guilt. It is a redirection toward what truly serves you. Sometimes we're saying yes to things that just don't serve us because we feel guilty, because I don't want to let them down, because I don't want them to feel bad. I don't. But how is that serving you? How is that serving you? You're not required to be accessible to everybody at all times. Ooh, breathe that in. Hi, Keon. You are not required to be accessible to people at all times. I'm a therapist. Imagine somebody calling me. Imagine, right, the heart that a person has to be a therapist. It took time to learn that I can't answer everybody at all times. If I'm off, I'm off. I will answer them when I get back. If I'm in the middle of something, I have to wait until I finish it to get back to it, or I set certain hours or certain times. If not, mm, if not setting those kinds of boundaries, it can cost you your peace. And if it costs you your peace, this is one thing I learned. I, first of all, cannot believe that, one of the things that was devastating for me was being divorced. But one thing I will say that I learned out of being divorced was that if it costs you your peace, it costs you too much. If it costs you your peace, it costs you too much. It was so hurtful to accept that I needed to be divorced. But I learned through therapy. A therapist helped me. He gave me a different perspective to look at how the situation was going and the decision that I had made for something that served me better than what I was being served at that time. And I realized, I will say it again, if it costs you your peace, it costs you too much. It is too expensive. And I'm going to say this part too. Disconnected, not from like, you don't have to pull yourself out. You don't have to isolate yourself into a space where you're like, okay, it's just me. I don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to be a part of anything. But taking a step back to realize, like, taking a step back from social media, taking a step back from certain relationships and work stress. That is not avoidance, right? That's self-preservation. That is a way that you protect yourself, you take care of yourself, and you are doing something that serves you for a purpose. You don't have to justify needing quiet time. Sometimes you just need a minute. I know if you're like me, I ain't gonna call nobody's name, but I know she's watching this, but we do the same thing, or at least I used to do the same thing. And I got to the point where I was like, let me jump out the car. Because if I sit in this car too long, I might just take a nap, pull up from work, and just sit inside the car because I need a minute to regroup. I got to get myself together before I go in this house and deal with the second and the third job. It's really what you have when you have children. You're maintaining a home. If you have a husband or a partner that you're living with. So, yeah, that's another thing. So In this moment, though, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you, what are you holding on to that no longer serves you? What are you holding on to that no longer serves you in this moment? I'm gonna give y'all a second to think about it. What are you holding on to that no longer serves you? Um, Disconnected from some of those things like social media, disconnected from taking on too many tasks at a time, taking a step back from certain relationships can give you an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. Reconnecting with yourself is, I will say, reconnecting with yourself is the ultimate power move. Reconnecting with yourself is the ultimate power move. When you step away from external noises, social media, I gotta do, we sign ourselves up for all these things. As a parent, especially, you can hide in the facade of busyness for as long as you want to. My son got to go to football, one got to go to baseball, the other one is the soccer season. Yet one of them got to go, and then I got to serve at the school, and then I'm gonna be at this meeting, and then I'm gonna be on the PTO, and then I'm gonna be. You can busy. Yes, they got birthday parties, cousins' birthday parties, friends' birthday parties. They got something going on at the park. You can hide behind that facade of busyness all you want as a parent, but there has to be a point where you disconnect, take a step back from those things, and reconnect with yourself. That is the ultimate power move. Because at the end of the day, your children, your family, your friends, the people who need you, the people who love you, cannot benefit. Hi, Miss Francine. Cannot benefit one if you giving them the stale parts of what is the remnants of what you haven't taken the time to build up. One, but two, you're suffering. It causes depression, anxiety. It causes weight gain because we got stress, we got high cortisol levels, we got autoimmune diseases setting in. We will have black women have one of the highest rates of autoimmune disease development. I'm talking about rheumatoid arthritis. I'm talking about lupus. I'm talking about um, thyroid stuff. These things are developing. Like finding out I wasn't born with this, but I'm developing. Those things come from stress and over engaging. So I want to say, reconnecting to yourself. Invest in what brings you joy. And that's why we're here for this 100 days of joy. I want you to I want to encourage you to invest in things that bring you joy. This is your daily reminder to do things that bring you joy. Invest in the things that bring you joy, like reading. I don't know what it is about reading, but sometimes when I read like an article, I know people might say you kind of nerdy or whatever. Sometimes I read an article. Sometimes I read a book. Sometimes I like even reading. Sister Soldier is one of my favorite artists, my favorite authors. I like Alice Walker. I love all kinds of books, but something about reading just does something to me. It changes my mood. It changes the way that I feel. Being outside in nature, looking, taking a time. I want to give you a little tip. When you're outside and you're taking a walk in nature, maybe not now in this little 22-degree weather. Hey, Marvin, yes, definitely get back to reading. It's so fulfilling. Oh gosh, I had a book too. Somebody just gave me. I just ordered it, and somebody was telling me about it. I'll come back. I'll put it. I'll send it to you. But it was. I can't even remember the name of it now. But I am reading The Parable of the Sowers by Octavia Butler, which was a preparation for what we're dealing with now. But let's stay in joy for a minute. Journaling. If you journal, sometimes people don't like to journal because they journal like what happened throughout the day, but I wanted to encourage you to consider journaling about the moments of joy you experienced today. Journal about something that brought you joy. Journal about something you're grateful for. You can just do 3 things I'm grateful for. Today, I'm grateful that I had a chance to run into so-and-so. She definitely reminded me of, good times. She definitely reminded me of so-and-so, or I had a great slice of pizza. Y'all don't know. You don't appreciate a good pizza if you from like New Jersey, New York area. You appreciate a good slice of pizza when you go somewhere else and you realize like this ain't the same, or anything for that matter. Like when you go to certain regions and the food, I love some good food. Music. Finding a music that brings you joy. Sometimes I just I put on a song, especially that song, Fantasia. Try to speak, but my knees go weak. What's happening to me? I don't know that. I don't know what it is about that song, and I can't sing, so sorry. Don't talk about me. Y'all can put it in the chat, but um, I can't think of the name of the song. What is it? When I See You by Fantasia. Something about that song. Anything by Mary J. Blige. Certain songs, any certain gospel songs, they just do something to me. So if that is your thing and they soothe your soul the same way, do those things. Engage in joy. Those are ways to reconnect with yourself. The goal is not to just be busy. The goal is to be fulfilled. You can be busy doing things you enjoy doing, but are you fulfilled in those things? Right? Are you just taking on things because it's, like I said, it's masking the hurt. It's masking the shame. It's masking the guilt. It's masking the pain. Or are you taking the time to say, you know what, I'm not allowing those things to continue to live here. I'm going to live my life. And the last thing I'm going to say, well, it ain't really the last thing. It's close to the last thing. But I want you to have guilt-free boundaries as a pathway to joy. Consider having guilt-free boundaries as a pathway to joy. You are not mean for protecting your energy. I'm telling you, not mean for not eating that cornbread. At this age, you know where that cornbread is going. You know where it's going. You're not mean for not eating it. You're not. Take it home. Eat it at another time if you want it. But just consider that you're not mean for not accepting or for protecting your energy. I don't want to be around so and so. I want to be there. I want to support you, and I like going where you're going. But it's just certain people. I don't want to be around them. I don't feel like being around such and such, and I don't feel like pretending that I want to be around them. So I'm not going, and that's okay. That's okay. Rest is not lazy. Rest is not lazy. I used to think I would come home and I just felt like, for some reason, we taught like the idle mind is a devil's workshop. You can't be sitting still. Even if our parents didn't tell us that, you could not be sitting still. You can't sit still. You have to be up. You got to be doing something. You ain't got nothing to do. You bored. I got something for you to do. At this big age, and for anyone who is growing, you need to understand that rest is essential. You are not lazy for resting. You don't have to wait until you are absolutely just completely out, down and out to rest. Rest should be a regular part of your routine. I am resting today. Today is Sunday. I'm resting today. It's every day at 6:00. I'm resting at 6. It's not lazy. Silence is not rude. I used to think that too. I'm putting all this stuff on here because these are things that I used to feel, but they are also things that I talk to people about every day, and I know that many people feel. Silence is not rude. It's not rude, and it's not alone time. Is not selfish. Time alone with yourself is not selfish. Sometimes you need that, and this is about giving yourself the things that you need. Sometimes one of the things that my ex-husband to get, well, or even in other relationships, just I wanted them to give me the things that I needed. I wanted them to, first of all, I wanted them to know what I needed and to be able to predict what I needed so that they can figure it out. They should have figured it out, and then they should have given me the thing that I needed that I wasn't giving to myself because I was waiting on them to give it to me. Figure that part out. But as we grow and we learn, giving yourself the things that you need is not selfish. And give yourself permission to choose peace over obligation. I'm not obligated to do anything. I'm duty bound to do some things. I love to do some things because I want to honor God and the gifts that He has given me. But I'm not obligated to do anything. You are not obligated. There is peace. There is peace when you resist or at least choose peace over obligation, I should say. Choose peace over obligation. And I'm going to ask you today as we end this live, when was the last time you unplugged, stepped back, and focused on you? When was the last time you unplugged, stepped back, and focused on you? Drop a heart in the comments if you are committed to setting boundaries this week, or a boundary this week, not even just some boundaries. Setting a boundary this week. Drop a heart. Send a heart if you are committed to setting boundaries, a boundary this week. All right, so I will see you tomorrow for our 100 Days of Joy challenge. And don't forget to comment and let me know a boundary that you are committed to setting this week. Well, it's Friday, so into next week, this weekend, okay? Get it ready for